There's a side of Taylor Swift's empire that almost never appears on camera, on stage, or in her million-dollar interviews. It's a reserved, silent territory, carefully distanced from the chaos of show business, where she controls every detail with absolute precision. This hidden side begins exactly in Nashville, the city that transformed a teenage girl with a guitar into the biggest music star in the world. But behind the bright lights of Broadway Avenue, the record labels, and the studios where global hits are born, lies a piece of land that redefines the concept of power and privacy. Taylor Swift's Billionaire Ranch. Very few people know how this place came to be. It wasn't just another luxury property. It was a calculated move, strategic and almost silent, because Taylor Swift has always understood something that many artists take decades to realize. Fame without territory does not equal power. She knew she needed a refuge, a command center, a place where she could plan her next steps far from the industry's watchful eyes. And Nashville was the only point on the map capable of fulfilling that purpose. The ranch began small but quickly became a crucial part of her architecture of influence. Just like her songwriting, every detail was adjusted, remodeled, and expanded over the years. What was once a traditional Tennessee rural property is now a modern fortress, surrounded by private security, advanced surveillance systems, and a structure designed to ensure complete isolation. At the same time, this farm carries deep symbolism. It represents the balance between public Taylor, celebrated, filmed, analyzed, and private Taylor, strategic, protected, almost unreachable. When you look at this property, you realize it's not just an investment, it's a silent manifesto of independence, a declaration that despite living under the pressure of millions of eyes, she still controls her own territory. This little-known origin explains why the ranch became so valuable, not only for its numbers but for the hidden meaning it carries. It is the foundation of an empire, a place where billion-dollar decisions are made, historic songs are written, and career strategies are crafted without interference. And this is exactly what you will discover throughout this video. How Taylor Swift turned a simple piece of land into one of the most strategic, powerful, and discreet residences in the entire entertainment industry. When people talk about a billionaire property owned by the biggest artists of our era, many imagine extravagant mansions, enormous rooms, and luxurious decor. But the true power of Taylor Swift's Nashville ranch is not in its appearance. It lies in how every space was designed to be functional, silent, strategic, and absolutely impenetrable. The property is, above all, a system. A living organism built to ensure that the artist maintains total control over everything around her. Passing through the main gates, reinforced, monitored 24/7. And hidden along a private road, you enter an environment that resembles a command center more than a residence. The main house preserves the classic Southern aesthetic, with traditional wood and brick architecture, but behind this idyllic appearance exists a network of undisclosed technologies. Every room has professional soundproofing, not only for privacy but also so Taylor can work, record demos, write songs, and meet with producers without any risk of leaks. The internal studio, for instance, is a hidden gem. It is not listed on public documents, does not appear in official photos, and was not built to impress visitors, but to serve as her creative lab. There, away from the pressure of record labels, Taylor records early versions of songs, experiments with melodies, and captures ideas that may or may not reach the world. This space represents the essence of her artistic independence. She creates when she wants, how she wants, with zero interference. Beyond the studio, there is an entire wing dedicated to her trusted team. So these are not ordinary employees, but hand-selected professionals, many of whom have worked with her for over a decade. The ranch includes full suites, private rest areas, monitoring rooms, and a structure prepared for the team to live there for long periods during tours, launches, or planning phases. It's almost as if the ranch were a small corporate operation, capable of functioning autonomously when necessary. The property also contains leisure areas, but always with a purpose: to recharge without being seen. A secluded pool, a subterranean movie room, a library filled with rare books, and even climate-controlled rooms for storing iconic outfits. Nothing is flashy, and that is precisely what makes the ranch so sophisticated. Here, luxury is not about showing off. Luxury is control, silence, and the freedom to create without limits. And though little of this is publicly discussed, rumors suggest the existence of underground tunnels connecting the main house to adjacent buildings, allowing the artist to move discreetly between sections without being seen, especially during periods of intense media attention. Whether true or not, this theory reinforces the logic behind the ranch. Protect what she built, shield her routine, and ensure that her creations are born in absolute secrecy. The internal structure of the ranch is a perfect reflection of Taylor Swift's lifestyle: efficient, strategic, impeccably organized, and always one step ahead of any attempt to invade her privacy. Nothing there is random. Every door, every corridor, every system was designed so she remains in complete control of her own world. If there is one area where Taylor Swift's ranch stands out above all else, it is security. This is not about hiring a few guards or installing basic cameras. We are talking about a protection system on the same level as international authorities, billionaire CEOs, and higher-risk political figures. In a world where the artist lives under constant surveillance, from fans, paparazzi, stalkers, and opportunists, every meter of the ranch was designed to block unauthorized approaches. The sophistication of this structure reveals how Taylor treats her privacy as a non-negotiable asset. Right at the entrance, before even reaching the main gates, there is an invisible security perimeter. The private road leading to the ranch is monitored by pressure sensors, thermal cameras, and devices capable of identifying unregistered vehicles. There is no way to enter the area without alerting the monitoring team. This protection ring functions as the first layer, filtering risks before they ever approach the real property. The walls and fences, although discreet, have internal steel reinforcement and vibration-detecting sensors. At the slightest suspicious touch, the control room receives an instant alert. And this room is not just a space with monitors. It is an advanced surveillance station equipped with software that analyzes movement patterns, behavior, and thermal presence. No matter the time, the ranch is always watching its surroundings. There are also drones used by the team in silent patrols at sunrise and sunset. Equipped with long-range lenses, they detect any movement across the external areas, especially during moments of intense media attention. These drones are not officially documented, but reports from locals and former employees suggest that they are part of a highly structured protocol. One of the most impressive measures is the absolute control over aerial monitoring. Even though it is impossible to legally close the airspace, the ranch has alert systems that detect small aircraft, suspicious helicopters, and even third-party drones. Any unauthorized approach is recorded, tracked, and forwarded to the legal and security departments. Nothing goes unnoticed. And as in every true fortress, there is the human element, carefully selected. The ranch's security staff are not amateurs. Many have military backgrounds, experience in executive protection, and high-level defense training. They operate in synchronized shifts, maintaining a perfect balance between vigilance and discretion. No matter the hour, someone is always watching, always ready. The most interesting part, however, is that this entire structure exists not out of paranoia, but out of necessity. Taylor Swift understands that her public persona has become a constant target. By strengthening her ranch, she strengthens her freedom. Security isn't a luxury. It is a direct response to the scale of her empire. This combination of cutting-edge technology, military-level strategy, and silent planning has turned the ranch into one of the most secure celebrity properties in the world. And within this shielded environment, she can do what matters most: create, plan, and live without fear. Owning a billionaire ranch in Nashville is not just a matter of luxury or lifestyle. In Taylor Swift's case, it represents one of the most calculated financial moves within the celebrity world. The property is not simply a retreat. It is a financial tool, a pillar of wealth protection, and a shield against the unpredictable fluctuations of the entertainment market. Everything there operates as part of a precise mechanism that ensures her fortune grows even when she is far from the stage. To understand this impact, we must remember that Taylor is not only an artist, she is one of the most skilled executives in the music industry. And like any high-level strategist, she knows that territorial control means financial power. By acquiring the ranch in Nashville, she didn't just buy land, she bought autonomy. Land is a stable asset, shielded from recessions and capable of appreciating for decades. In globally unstable times, owning hectares in one of Tennessee's most valuable regions is a decision few artists would dare to make, yet she executed it flawlessly. Furthermore, the location offers specific advantages that directly affect long-term strategy. Nashville is a hub of music, tourism, and upscale residential growth. The city expands exponentially every year, attracting investors, entrepreneurs, and artists. With that growth, land prices have reached historic levels, and Taylor Swift's ranch has become one of the best-positioned properties in that expansion. It is as if the farm sits atop a vault that increases in value on its own. Another crucial factor is privacy. Instead of living in urban properties where every photo can be leaked online, she chose a territory where physical distance and strict access control reinforce her public image. Interestingly, this isolation also has commercial value. The less her personal life is exposed, the more curious the public becomes. Mystery sells, silence sells. And this ranch, as strategic as it is, also fuels the myth she has built around herself. On a deeper level, there's also a corporate and fiscal component. Many celebrities turn rural estates into operational centers, integrating production, creation, recording, and business meetings. This generates tax benefits, administrative control, and reduced operational costs. It would not be surprising, and all signs suggested, that Taylor Swift's ranch also functions as a secondary headquarters for her company, used for artistic development and strategic planning. But there is something even more powerful. The ranch has become a symbol of stability. In an industry where careers can evaporate within years, Taylor has built something physical, concrete, and lasting. A legacy that does not depend on charts, tours, or streaming numbers. Even if she stopped everything today, this land would continue growing, prospering, and generating security. It is the type of investment that proves Taylor thinks far beyond the present. She acts like someone who understands that her legacy must exist outside digital platforms. In the end, the ranch is not just a billionaire property. It is tangible proof that Taylor Swift holds absolute control over the empire she built, and that behind every song, every tour, and every decision, there's a financial vision that transcends art itself. Behind every detail of Taylor Swift's billionaire ranch lies something deeper than luxury, security, or financial strategy. There is psychology. The Nashville property is not just a physical location, it is an extension of the artist's mind, a direct reflection of how she thinks, creates, protects herself, and rebuilds. Understanding this relationship means understanding the true essence of Taylor Swift, not as a celebrity, but as an emotional strategist. From the early days of her career, Taylor has always displayed the same pattern, turning chaos into control. When the media attacked her, she responded with music. When others tried to silence her, she rewrote her own narrative, and when the world got too close, she created distance. The ranch represents that same psychological mechanism. It is the place where she decides what comes in and what stays out, who approaches and who remains far away, what is revealed and what stays locked in silence. The wide, quiet, isolated spaces of the property were not chosen randomly. They reflect her need for emotional autonomy. Every area of the ranch, from the hidden studio to the reserved wings for her team, operates as a mental balance zone. For an artist who lives under constant pressure, isolation is not indulgence, it is survival. It is there, far from the noise of the world, that she restores the energy required to sustain a career that demands perfection 24 hours a day. Another essential element is narrative control. Taylor built her public persona on calculated vulnerability. She shares real feelings, real stories, real pain, but always at the moment and in the format she chooses. The ranch symbolizes that same logic. It is a fortress where emotions mature, where decisions take shape, where she disassembles her own story before presenting it to the world. Nothing escapes without purpose. It is important to remember that Taylor has experienced stalking, privacy invasions, and real threats. These events profoundly shape the way she exists in the world. That is why the ranch also represents healing. It is not just physical protection, it is emotional protection. It is where she feels safe enough to be just Taylor, not the global star, not the billionaire businesswoman, not the public figure, but the real person behind the spotlight. And there is a fundamental creative component. The ranch is the epicenter of her reinvention. Many of the lyrics that defined the most powerful moments of her career were born in places like this, far from external expectations. Controlled solitude becomes fuel for deep, complex, emotionally sharp creations. It is where she records memories, revisits traumas, transforms vulnerability into art, and emotion into cultural heritage. Psychologically, the ranch functions as a map of her greatest strength, the ability to control her own destiny. It represents the balance between introspection and strategy, silence and power, isolation and expansion. It is the physical proof that Taylor Swift dominates the art of reinvention, not out of necessity but out of choice. In the end, the ranch is more than a home. It is a mental sanctuary, an emotional laboratory, a place where she shapes herself before shaping the world around her. Understanding this space means understanding what truly sustains the Taylor Swift empire: a disciplined, sensitive, strategic mind relentlessly focused on remaining sovereign over her own story. When you connect all the dots, reinforced security, classic architecture, billionaire value, cultural influence, territorial expansion, and the absolute domain Taylor Swift built around Nashville, you realize this ranch is not just physical property. It is a strategic fortress carefully shaped to reflect the power of a woman who turned her own story into an empire. Every gate, every trail, every restored wall, and every decision made on this land reveals something deeper. Taylor is not just an artist. She is a territory manager, a visionary entrepreneur, and the silent commander of a rural kingdom few people ever get to see. And here is the point most people miss. While many see only glamour, Taylor uses this ranch as a mechanism of emotional and financial survival. Nashville may be her musical base, but this farm is her shield, her trench, and her creative lab. Inside this controlled and protected environment, ideas, compositions, strategies, and decisions that move millions are born. To outsiders, it's just a beautiful ranch. To her, it is a command center. So that's why this place has become so symbolic. Imagine an artist who could live anywhere in the world yet chooses to remain rooted in the countryside, surrounded by peace, century-old trees, and land that breathes history. That reveals something far greater than luxury. It reveals purpose. It reveals strength. It reveals the awareness that the rural world offers something no city ever could: silence to think and space to grow. Now, if you've made it this far, it means you truly want to understand the secret universe of great farms, billionaire retreats, and the silent power these places carry. So here's my invitation. Subscribe to Celebrities Farm to keep exploring hidden stories, surprising properties, and behind-the-scenes secrets no one else reveals. And get ready, because in the next video we will explore another extraordinary property, a ranch so massive and so wrapped in mystery that it feels like it came straight out of a movie. If you love this world of rural wealth, you can't miss it. See you there.